Hi there, welcome to my Beach Resin bookmark tutorial. This is just kind of what I did. There's lots of other different ways to do stuff, obviously, but I took packing tape backwards on my hand to get rid of any particles or dust or hair or anything like that. I have a cat, so that tends to be everywhere. I found that this is a pretty important step to do in order to get a decent finish in resin. You never know if something is there until it's too late. Here I'll just show you what I used. I had some sand, shells, and starfish, as well as the art resin was my resin of choice, and then the colors that I chose to use. These pigments that I used are not the most dense of pigments that you can get, but for this project I thought it was nice to have that translucent look. Here I'm just adding the sand into my cup. Seashells I used. Starfish. Starfish I think I got on Amazon, but you can get them from anywhere. Seashells you can get right at the beach if you are able to. If not, you can find them at craft sales or a dollar store, anything like that. I'm using two different cups to mix my resin, one for the hardener and one for the resin itself. I just find it easier to measure that way when I'm using small quantities. I don't use an actual measuring cup, so I go to the lines on my cups, and it just makes it easier that way to make the ratio. You want to mix really well. Calls for 3 minutes. And make sure you're scraping the sides. And here I'm pouring it into my sand and mixing it up to a consistency that I like. I try to make it still really rigid, but completely coated in resin before I put it into my molds. Mixing it really well. Here I'm doing like a dollop in each mold just to make sure that I have enough to go around. And I'll go back and add some or anything like that until I've used what I wanted to use. I just didn't want to be short on any and have to mix up another batch when it's really not necessary. Here I am spreading it out and creating like a very slow slant that's going to be going into the water, almost like how a beach is. That way it gives the most sand and allows the resin to come back up over top of some of that sand. Gives it a really nice look. Pushing it into the corners. Now I'm going to take some of my resin, divide it into two different cups so I can get two different colors. I'm doing a lighter blue and a darker blue. One's kind of a teal color. The other one is using the purple and sapphire. I'm also going to add some mica powder because I just really like that shimmer. Definitely see the two different colors going on there. I'm going to pour the lighter color first, closest to the sand. I'm just going to go until I'm out of that color. It's not really a big deal. I ran out on the last one, but that's okay. I'm just going to do the other color there. Here I am pulling the resin up into the sand, so it just starts to run that way and fill in that slant that we made earlier with the sand. Now I'm going to go with the darker blue and fill in some of these other ones. I'm mixing it with a popsicle stick to start blending it together and spreading out the resin. I'm doing another one, a third color. I'm trying to match fairly close to the one that I just ran out, just to fill in what's left. Just didn't make quite enough resin. Same thing, pulling it into the sand. And I'm heating it up with a heat gun so that it starts to blend the colors. My recording stopped unexpectedly, so what you missed was I just poured a third darker color now closest to the top, and then I also placed my shells and covered with some clear resin just to secure them in place. I'm blowing them with a heat gun to finish the mixture. Cleaning my hands with rubbing alcohol. I don't like them to be all sticky. I should really be wearing gloves, but I'm not. Filling in some spots that I feel might be a little bit low or settling down too much. I'm using a mini torch to blow away the bubbles, to heat the bubbles and make them pop. And I'll just kind of play around with it for a good 15 minutes, poking things around, getting bubbles to pop and let it settle. So here it is cured, so this is the next day. It's still really bendy, but I'm going to add the wave layer now that it has set. I'm mixing some clear resin. Because I need so little, I did mix it in the same cup. You want to mix it for at least 3 minutes. Here I'm taking the clear resin. I'm going to pour it into 2 cups. One is going to be the opaque white for the wave, and the other is going to be a darker blue. I used the acrylic ink as well as the sapphire blue pigment. Just to get that dark rich color that I'm looking for, the ink has more pigment to it. And you want some clear left over. I'm pouring this darker blue right up close to the top. And just come about halfway down. I find that the overlap just richens it up a little bit. Again, I used that mica powder because I just like that shimmer. Here I am using a popsicle stick, and I'm just making sure that all the resin has gone in and around where the hole of the bookmark is going to be. And we're going to come in with some clear. I want the clear to come just short of where you want your wave to be. Here I'm just setting up my wave, the angles that I want my wave to be at, bringing it forward as much as I want to, and then I'm going to pour the opaque white right at the edge of the clear, as well as a little bit up to create that wave effect. Just like to mix the color a little bit, that way I don't have to blow it around too much. For here, I decided to take a eyedropper and cut the top off. I like the way that it tapers at the end and gives an easier way to control it. Popping some bubbles. I'm going back over the very edge with a little bit darker, more opaque white. And again, my video stopped filming there, and so I just went over each one of them. You see some extra waves. Just the same process, just blowing it to blend it in. Gorgeous. That mica powder just really makes it sparkle. After 2 days of curing, it is still a little bit bendy, but it is ready to come out of the molds. Quite a bit of my molds stuck. I had to use a knife and just loosen that edge, but nothing that just a simple knife along the edge won't fix. I decided to try things differently this time. I left them in the molds during the wave pouring. Normally I don't leave them in the molds, and I don't think that I will leave them in the molds again. I just like the look of when it pours over the side, it can give that dimension instead of having them perfectly square. So here, in order to get that squared off edge of the bookmark, we need to take the X-Acto knife and just peel off that overflow from the wave layer. Because it's still pliable, it's relatively easy to do. Once I trim the edges with a X-Acto knife, I'm going to go back over with the Dremel tool. 3 different ends of the Dremel tool that I found useful. I liked the grinder opposed to a sander because it leaves less grooves. Does the same job, just leaves less grooves. Here I'm just cleaning out the center hole. They just popped right out. Any overflow. So with the Dremel, I'm going to grind the edge so that it is all flat. There's no more ridge there, making it all even. And then I will go back over with the rubber end. The rubber end just helps to even that out and get rid of any kind of scratch marks or anything from that grinding wheel. And then the polishing brush I just took whatever random polish that was in my Dremel toolkit, and it worked fine. I wasn't looking for a super shiny look, so what I got out of this was what I was looking for. And I continued. I just used the grinder to grind it all flat. Then I went to the rubber end to get rid of any kind of brush strokes, any kind of marks. And lastly, I went over with the polishing wheel just to get rid of any dust or fine edges. Okay, skipping to the end of that. Once that is all done, I gave them all a polish, clean my work area, wipe them all down with a microfiber cloth. I let them cure for another couple days just to harden completely, and I put the tassel through each and every one of those. I love the white tassels to go with this beach look, just freshens it up. Some of them are a little harder to get in than others, but you just gotta twist it a little bit. Then into my packaging, I cut these out with my Silhouette Cameo 3. I do the design work and stuff myself. They're relatively simple, but very clean looking. Multifunctional. And they are complete. These are my Beach Resin bookmarks. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Bye-bye.